5, Steve Bold out with an ankle injury and missing a major match for the club for the first time for 18 months. Paul Merson is likely to switch to the left of midfield because of the absence of Anders Limpar, who scored for Sweden against Norway on Thursday night but damaged himself in the process. David Rocastle, you just saw a little glimpse of him. Here he is. He is playing after an operation to insert 3 screws into a broken finger. That's the legacy of an accidental collision with Sampdoria's Gianluca Vialli in the Makita tournament last Sunday. If you are going to get injured, I suppose there's some prestige in doing it in a collision with such a famous opponent. Tottenham's team shows 2 changes from the side which started the FA Cup final. Terry Fenwick is fully fit at last and preferred to Justin Edinburgh, who's had a disappointing pre-season. Fenwick will play at right back with Pat van den Hauwe switching to the left. And Naim, a capable substitute for Paul Gascoigne after those first fateful 15 minutes here against Forest in May. But the one here in the FA Cup in the semi-final against Tottenham, when Spurs started at such a quick pace. Oh, and it's Campbell, and it was a fleeting chance, but it was a chance.
Very much so. A hell of a long throw in from Dixon. Campbell taken a little bit by surprise when the Spurs defenders missed this one. He hasn't quite got his sharpness there. A little bit, maybe a little bit too close on the keeper. Maybe if he'd been a yard or 2 back, he'd have just had a little bit more space to manipulate the ball.
So just over 5 minutes gone. It's Arsenal 0, Tottenham 0, which was the way the 2 league matches between the 2 clubs finished last season. Tottenham, as so often, finding their best when they're confronted by the red and white of the opposition. Here's Rocastle. Smith waiting on the far side. Now having to come if the ball goes to feet. It's in for Campbell from Davis, and it was the best opening of the match so far. And Kevin Campbell, George Graham's reaction quite plain there. Needs no extra comment from me. But Kevin Campbell really has earned his living in his short career with a great goal ratio.
Yeah, I mean, but he showed what he's all about. He's about running forward. This is a super piece of play from Davis. Very well disguised ball. Campbell's done well in as much as he's sprung the offside trap. Got a feeling the keeper should take a little bit of credit there. He actually held a very good position and showed Campbell little of the goal.
Well, Eric Torsvedt, who had a marvellous match here against Arsenal in the FA Cup semi-final, while his opposite number then and today, David Seaman, of course, had a match that he would be, well, he would like people to allow him to forget, shall we say. Merson, who's looked conspicuous for Arsenal thus far. Always wanting to work the ball onto his right foot. Well, they sprang forward then, or tried to do so, through Sedgley from the back. And Sessi on his way back to his defensive station, finally making contact with the ball. Merson again. Smith's offside. It's a lovely header, typical of Alan Smith's work. He will wonder whether he made his move. Yes, it must have been close. The ball came quite a long way.
Yes, I think you'll find it. For me, before seeing this, I think he was offside. He was staying just on the last man. He wasn't as blatant as that picture will show.
Fresh in his memory, the win over Germany in June, which gives Wales a fighting chance of finishing this season in Sweden in the finals of the European Championship. Van den Hauwe. Howells, who we haven't seen much of in this game, has got forward well from midfield this time. And it's over Seaman but over the bar. Well, David Howells has a brother, Gareth, who was a Wembley scorer in the playoffs for Torquay a couple of months ago, which in itself is not so unusual, except that Gareth Howells is a goalkeeper. He scored a penalty against Blackpool. David Howells here trying to steer the ball over David Seaman, who hadn't strayed too far off his line, in truth. unnecessarily corner conceded by Dixon. Trying to curve it back with the outside of the right foot and actually making contact with the instep, and the ball didn't bend, it went straight.
Just trying to think if I've ever seen a back pass miss the goal by so much.
You should play in our Sunday team, Ron. What am I saying? You have played in it. Naim takes the corner. Mabbutt is there! Will he look for O'Leary again? He does. But can't get over the head of Van den Hauwe. Dixon. Everything ahead of Nigel Winterburn. He's presented the ball straight to Lineker, who's got one or two options on the far side, but nothing to his left. Samways has made a great run. And Adams didn't time that tackle at all well. Lineker at the near post. And it's a wonderful save by Seaman from Naim. The ball's still in play. A great break by Tottenham. And David Seaman, who was in the toils here in the FA Cup semi-final against the same opponents, came up with a save and worked more in keeping with his class.
Beautiful break here by Naim. Adams a little bit short on his tackle, but Samways holds it, gets the keeper under the ball, and from there on in you think Naim was just going to open his account. Good goalkeeping. He's been at the front post for the possible drag to the near post.
Hilliers' header. Will have the greatest stamina here in sapping conditions. Mercer still goes on, and Davis lines it up, but he'd love for the ball to have bounced onto his left side and not the right. He didn't attack it with huge confidence, Rob.
No, in all fairness, it looks as if once Mercer's shot was deflected, it looks as if it was coming out a little bit more to him. I think even the defenders hung it back a little bit, thinking it was going to be Davis. I think he definitely went looking for a nudge then, when he went between Allen and Fenwick.
It's Winterburn's turn this time, and he's got into the area as well. Arsenal trying to find the right ball. And it was very nearly there from Winterburn towards the head of Smith. Dixon. Oh, and Torsfett actually had no direct challenge. And Alan Smith, who'd gone from one side of the goal, couldn't get his position right on the other side to be at the far post from Lee Dixon's cross. Arsenal still have a corner. Stewart back into the action after some running repairs. And testing out Davis. And beating him. Lineker joined in the middle by Samways, if Stewart can supply a cross. Allen linking up with Samways. Well, it was one that got away. Probably the whistle would have gone. Mercer. Oh, Fenwick, it'll run for Smith, will it? Not quite, because Torsfett came out knowing that he had to get to the ball then.
Yes, she felt this was going to be the one. Everything looked just about right. The lay-in from Merson into Smith's feet, but he just couldn't make it. And he's suffered, I would guess, a thigh strain out there. No?
Actually, Fenwick in making what was quite a clean challenge as the ball came back to Merson, knocked it against a teammate. I think it was Sedgley. You see there, Fenwick gets to the ball, and it comes back off that little scrum there. Almost for Alan Smith, but not quite. And Arsenal might be able to do that here. Merson. This is Cole on the far side. They saw the net shake and they thought it was inside, but it was the outside of the net.
I must confess his control here was brilliant. I actually thought he had scored from this angle. I think the goalkeeper thought he might have scored as well.
Well, that was the last action of a hugely enjoyable Charity Shield, but one that's failed to produce a goal. And George Graham and Peter Shreeves have an immediate post-mortem on it between themselves. And there'll be good and bad, I'm sure, to analyse in both parties. Certainly the good for Arsenal included the performance of Paul Merson, who's put so much into it. He is the sponsor's man of the match. I don't think there's any great surprise in that. And amazingly, with the Shield spending 6 months at Highbury, 6 months at White Hart Lane, no London club has won it outright since it's been switched to Wembley. In fact, since 1962, when Tottenham took it. But still Arsenal are finding Spurs a tough nut to crack. So the two sides going up side by side.
I think you'd probably say overall as well that was a fair result. Arsenal had most of the pressure play in both halves of the game, and yet Spurs, as I say, played a very controlled way and made the more controlled breaks. Actually, many threatening breaks.
The presentation from Ian Prosser